storm going hand in hand with Hurricane Erin out here on eastern Long Island. Surf is way up. You remember a Beach Boys song, Catch a Wave, and you're living on top of the world, sitting on top of the world. Yeah, okay, it's true, but you better know what you're doing out there in that ocean, which is only about 120 yards away from me right now, out of my studio here. Better know what you're doing or you're going to be in Portugal. So it is big surf, and it's very interesting to watch nature and all that. I like all that. Anyway, that's what we are dealing with on this Wednesday, and the talking points memo is about Putin's madness. Now, I made a lot of headlines all over the world by saying flat out, I believe that Vladimir Putin is mentally ill. And that's the reason that Trump got fooled and campaigned, I'll solve the Ukraine war on day one. You remember all that. Because in the first 4 years of Trump's presidency, Putin was at least somewhat rational. It's gone. And my book, Confronting Evil, comes out September 9th. You'll see almost every single one of these heinous mass murderers in the book. They didn't start out absolutely insane, but that's how they ended up. And I believe that Vladimir Putin is in that category. So after going to Alaska, where he was greeted as an equal by President Trump, Putin has not relented one bit. Okay? So it's Wednesday. On Monday, he killed and a bunch of people in Kharkiv, including a family with toddler, 16-year-old boy, 23 injured there. Another southeastern attack, another 23 wounded. The Ukrainian Air Force says 25 locations were hit by Russian drones and military. Ukrainian's Air Force also says that 270 drones, 10 missiles were launched into Ukraine by Putin. So he's obviously not stopping. He's not pausing. He didn't pause even when he was in Alaska. What kind of is that? What is that? Okay? If you really want to get a peace deal, if you really want to get a compromise on issues, and Trump is willing to compromise, all right, you don't keep bombing and killing women and children. But Putin likes it. He enjoys that. Okay? He enjoys bringing terror into the hearts of what he perceives as an enemy. And Ukraine is not an enemy of Russia. Ukraine can't do anything to Russia. NATO would never invade Russia. And it rankles me, and I will call them out, any Americans who say, hey, Putin's got a legitimate beef here. Anybody does that, you're going to come up against me, just like John Bolton did, because he hates Trump so much. His analysis is dishonest. Bolton pulled him back a little bit. I don't know whether you noticed him. He's still around, but he's not as hateful as he used to be. So I think we accomplished something there. Overall, civilian deaths, okay? And this is from the United Nations High Commissioner in Ukraine, closing in on 36,000 innocent people. Injuries, I think this is a low number myself, 14,000. Total almost 50,000 hurt by Putin. For what? For what? Ukraine's no danger to you, all right? Even if you get Ukrainian territory, it doesn't do you any good. None. Ridiculous. President Trump has canceled his vacation to Bedminster, where he has a club in New Jersey, to try to work this out. There is a rumor that Zelensky and Putin might meet. That's a total waste of time. Putin doesn't respect Zelensky. He's going to go out like a peacock and, okay, you want another spectacle? Fine, it's not going to lead anywhere. The only thing that's going to stop Putin is if Putin thinks that his own life is in danger. And the only way that could happen is if Trump slaps onerous economic sanctions on Russia and the people there begin to starve. And they'll kill Putin if that happens. His own people will kill him. His generals will kill him. We can't kill him because he has nukes, and he'll use those nukes. Putin's mad enough to use them. So just keep that in mind. We're not dealing with a person here who's got any compunction about wiping out 100,000 people in Kyiv. He'd send a nuke to Kyiv. Absolutely convinced he would. Again, I will back up everything I say in the book coming out September 9th, Confronting Evil. And we do expect here that President Trump will put major sanctions on Russia soon. That's the memo. Inside the United States, we could not find one Democrat praising Donald Trump's attempt to bring peace in Ukraine. Not one in an elective office. So I'm doing a YouTube commentary, which has exploded worldwide now. We're very proud of it. It's youtube.com/BillO'Reilly. It'll be posted tomorrow. Right now on the YouTube ban, we have the disintegration of the Democratic Party in America. But tomorrow will be a very specific commentary about sedition, about how the opposing party in the United States, the Democrats, some of them are being seditious. And I'll explain what sedition is and all that. But I'm going to give you a preview. Here's what Senator Ted Cruz said. Go.
They don't want peace, and that is sad. We should all want peace in Ukraine. I believe we're going to see that, and I think President Trump is doing everything humanly possible to achieve that peace, and not a single Democrat is cheering him on. They're all rooting for America to fail. That's really sad.
And what Cruz says is true. It's absolutely true, and we'll back it up. We'll prove it. We've researched it and everything else. Again, that's on YouTube. We will post that tomorrow. Our healthcare system is a mess. You know that. You wait weeks for a doctor's appointment, get 5 minutes there, then face delays, insurance, red tape. It's slow, frustrating, and it's why All Family Pharmacy stands out in the madness. All Family Pharmacy believes in medical freedom, meaning you decide what works for your health, not some agency or insurance company. Ordering is simple. No waiting rooms, pharmacy lines. Just go online, place your order, and get medications delivered right to your door. They offer 200 medications, including ivermectin and antibiotics, plus emergency kits, customized orders, even bulk buys. More than 100,000 Americans already trust All Family Pharmacy. It's time you check them out. So please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use promo code BILL10 for 10% off. Take your health into your own hands. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill, code BILL10. Let's bring him on in. Mark Levin, you know him. He comes on occasionally on this program. We're pleased to have him. He's got a new book out on power. Very apropos, of course. Hit #1 on the New York Times list, 9th time for Mr. Levin. Very impressive. A radio guy, 300 stations. He leads into me on our flagship WABC in New York City. And he joins us now from Leesburg, Virginia. About that, I don't have a red carpet I can give you down there. I would have done that for you, Levin. You know I would have.
You're a good man, Bill, no matter what they say. You're a good guy.
And they say a lot.
And let me say something else. I really couldn't disagree with the thing you said. Putin is a monster. He's a genocidal maniac. He's only getting worse. You make a great point. Even today, he's trying to bomb the hell out of the civilian centers in Ukraine. And let us not forget, in 1994, Soviet Union, well, what was then Russia, signed a deal that Ukraine would turn all their nukes over to Russia, and in exchange, the United States, Britain, and Russia would protect their boundaries. And of course, he violated that. So the key here is, you know, Putin wants all this land, and he also wants those areas where the Ukrainians are really dug in, and they believe they have a very strong line of defense beyond which the Russians have been unable to go. And he wants that too. And of course, the issue for the Ukrainians is, well, look, how are we supposed to keep doing this? We need security here. This guy's untrustworthy. As Bill says, as you say, this guy is really a head case. And as he's written, Bill, and he's written at length, or somebody did for him, it doesn't really matter. He believes it. This is just the first step. He thinks he's more aligned with Stalin than he is with Gorbachev.
Stalin is his idol. When you read when you read my book, you'll see he models his whole thing on Stalin. But I have a very, very tough question for you right now. Yeah. You ready for that?
Barely.
All right. In this world, who's more powerful, Trump or Putin?
I don't think the answer is that tough. I think Trump is more powerful, and I'll tell you why. right now, Putin's economy is a shambles. When you're relying on North Korean troops who don't know how to fight, and you are to some extent, and you were relying on Iran for your drones, and you're relying on China and India to pump up your economy, you're relying on a lot of outside factors. And you mentioned in your opening, there have been about 250,000 Russians who have died in this war. And on top of that, you have about 900 to a million casualties. In addition to that, they're taking more incoming in terms of death and casualties than the Ukrainians are. You look at their equipment. I went back and looked at this. They're losing tanks and personnel carriers at a clip of about 5-1 compared to the Ukrainians. And so, plus Donald Trump has basically opened the spigot. As much as Europe wants to buy our military equipment, he's going to sell it to them. And also this issue of tariffs against India and China to get them to stop buying oil. Trump could pull that trigger. He's talking about
he hasn't done China yet because he's still working on it. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Go ahead.
In this negotiation, because I'm going on the framework of your book. In this negotiation, Putin holds more power than Trump. And the reason is that Putin knows that NATO and the United States will not go to World War III to save Ukraine. What do you think?
Well, I don't think that's the test. I think the test is whether or not they'll go to World War III. Putin is more concerned about holding on to what he has. Then Trump leaves office. Then he figures he'll be able to roll over any Democrat and most Republicans. That's my concern. I don't think he's thinking about World War III with Donald Trump in position. See, he saw what Trump did with Iran, and he knows from his perspective, Trump is a wild card. He's not sure what Trump's going to do. And most people aren't. But Trump is not the isolationist, as some of the fake MAGAs say he is. He's not an appeaser. He's not a pacifist. He's a realist in many respects. So I also think that he saw what Trump was capable of about 3 or 4 weeks ago when Trump lost his patience with him and started to choke India and was planning on choking China, and again, was willing to flow arms into Ukraine through Europe purchasing them. And I think that helped bring him to the table, because my concern is that after Trump leaves, he's going to say, all right, let me deal with Trump. Let me see what I can get under Trump. I'll take what I can get, and then we'll wait out. See, they're long.
Yeah, we'll violate everything when the next president comes in. But why hasn't President Trump sanctioned the banks yet? So he could have done it. He could have basically said, look, no banking corporation in the world who does business with Moscow in any way can do business with America or the EU. That breaks the banks. They can't do business with Putin. It starves Putin. Why hasn't he done it yet?
Maybe he will. I mean,
he might. He's only in
there 7 months. He's in there 7 months, and he's been doing a hell of a lot, and in a lot of parts of the globe. So he may well do that. But maybe he doesn't want to open up yet other fronts of economic battle yet until he's done everything he can. I don't speak for them. They don't sit down and explain it to me. I'm just giving you my judgment. That's still on the table. And even more than that, choking off their ability to bring any revenue in through their oil sales. That's the killer.
Yeah,
and
but that's China.
That second level of sanctions, which would be the bank. If he wanted to destroy Russia, he can destroy Russia economically the way Reagan destroyed the Soviet Union. He can. And that's why, to answer your initial question on power, Trump has the cards. Number one, Ukraine is not our country. They're an ally. Number two, they're a victim. Number three, they've done enormous damage to Russia. Russia's done enormous damage to Ukraine. Ukraine has done more damage to Russia than anybody thought was even possible. In fact, every country that looks at Russia now sees that they're not the conventional military threat that they once were. They're a nuclear threat. There's no question about that.
Yeah, that's
But
the problem.
They're not the same conventional military threat that they
No,
were before.
that's
So I think
obvious.
Putin's play is to work through Trump as best you can, and then wait for the next president to make further moves.
Okay. And that's why I think there will be a deal, but China is the key to it because China could speed it up. Now, let's segue into Hamas and Israel. I got a couple of questions because I follow your commentary on this, and you've had some feuds with people that you believe are anti-Semitic and are shaping their foreign policy against Israel because they simply don't like Jews. I want a little more clarification on this. So in college campuses, the progressive left, which has always despised Israel since 1949 and Harry Truman, the progressive left has always despised it, thinks it's a fascist state, thinks it stole the land from the Arabs. You know the whole history better than anyone. Okay. If a person buys into that, a younger person, say at Harvard or wherever, do they automatically hate Jews?
No, and I've never said that. I think when you platform Holocaust deniers and you platform people who are sympathetic to Hitler and are trashing Churchill, in other words, frauds, or when you platform people who are, in fact, out of the closet anti-Semites, that makes you an anti-Semite too. If you're marching in the streets against the war, that doesn't make you an anti-Semite. Makes you a buffoon because the terrorists are the terrorists, the same people hit us on 9/11. And we'll have a different type of debate about that. But when you have comics and others who come on and flat out spew, the KKK lines, the neo-Nazis lines, or when you have people talking about the river to the sea, when you're marching on that, you're talking about the extermination of the Jews. Yeah, you are what you are. And many of them are proud of it.
So, there's no doubt about it. It's just it's a tough line sometimes to delineate. But here's the power quotient there. So you've got Israel, and I open up confronting evil with the October 6th attack to demonstrate to the reader, you want to know what evil is, here's what evil is. And we have unbelievable description of what happened on that day. And that's how I kick off the book. But now you have a power Israel, very capable of defending its own people, has to be, against a movement, Hamas, has no rules. There's not one rule. They'll kill babies, they'll hide behind women, they'll blow up hospitals, they'll steal food for people who are dying. We all know that. So that, again, makes it very difficult for an Israel to negotiate anything with people who got no rules, no compunctions. Word means nothing, correct?
That's 100%, which is why this whole thing is rather bizarre. I think, and to have Qatar, which is a terrorist regime, and Qatar, which funded Hamas and protected its leaders, and they're billionaires, those who are still alive. Qatar is a very dangerous country, as far as I'm concerned, in the United States. It's got its money everywhere, and in both parties, and in the executive branch, and in Congress, and everywhere else. And both, as I say, it doesn't even matter who's in charge of what. It's a very dangerous situation. And so, as an example, you have Qatar and Egypt, which is on the border with Gaza, which has a real wall and will not allow any of those people out. I mean, even Netanyahu says, well, why don't you take them? Egypt, you keep negotiating, you're mediating, and you've got the whole Sinai Peninsula that we gave back. And Egypt wants none of them, not one of them. So they've closed the gate, they have the wall, they won't let them out. Qatar keeps supporting Hamas. It used to do it openly, now it does it behind the scenes. And those are the mediators, those are the people negotiating. And so it's a very strange thing. Bill, what I see here is more of this Marxist model, this oppressor oppressed. And the media in Europe and our country, and even some in Israel, have turned Israel into the oppressor. Why? Because Israel can actually defend itself now. Israel needs the equipment. It's a tiny country of 9 million people. It doesn't have massive industry, but it's got massive technological know-how. And it's got warriors who are willing to fight because they know the alternative is death. And so all their people, they fight. They come out of the cafes. They have to go wherever they go. But you're right. The idea that you negotiate with terrorists as if they're
It's
terrorists.
crazy.
They're called terrorists for a reason because
Yeah.
they don't believe in rules.
But
They don't
you
believe
have
in
to.
paper.
And to Trump's credit, he has neutralized Qatar a bit. And it's the way he operates. I don't know what his personal feelings are about it. I don't know if he has any. He's neutralized them a bit. Last question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is there a television network, news operation in America that gives Israel a fair play?
Well, I think you do. I think there are certain podcasters who do. I think Fox does. Uh, I think Newsmax does. I think the rest of them, not that I watch them that much, but like on these Sunday shows, they're absolutely horrific. New York Times, Washington Post, they have a whole history of being horrific about this, and they are. They take the Hamas numbers and they regurgitate them. They bring in the most repulsive politicians, whether it's Bernie Sanders or people like that, who come on, and he's an out of the closet Marxist. And he went to a kibbutz in Israel as a young man that was known as a Stalinist kibbutz. This guy's, and they bring him on like he's just your average politician. They bring on people like that who will speak what they know, who will say what they know. So I would say very few. In Europe, it's gotten horrific too. So there's very few. It's really
Even
takes
England and
independent
Ireland.
voices.
Even in England and
Again?
Ireland. Even in England and Ireland,
Yes.
Israel cannot get a fair shake.
No.
Can't.
But I have to say, we're friends, but they're friends I disagree with. You're very honorable. You play right down the middle, and playing it down the middle means sometimes you got to take a side. The middle is what's the truth, what's the morality, what's virtue, what's the belief system. And as you point out, it's terrorists versus a democratic civilization. And so when you play it down the middle, it doesn't mean 6 terrorists versus 6 Israelis. You play it down the middle. The middle is, okay, who's the aggressor? Who's acting out of good faith? Who is conducting themselves in a highly immoral way, and so forth and so on. So when you play that down the middle, it shouldn't be that hard to know who's right and who's wrong. And that doesn't mean you agree with everything, but it means ultimately there's a good guy and a bad guy.
Well, you're astute enough to understand, because you're a historian like I am, that there are facts in this world. And usually when you gather the facts, the truth becomes known. So on a Putin, you'll remember in the beginning of the Ukraine war, you had high-profile people in the United States sympathizing with Putin. It was like you had him, you had Joseph Kennedy and Lindbergh sympathizing with Hitler. You had it. It was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But I tore them to pieces on the facts. And last week, I just annihilated Ambassador John Bolton. I annihilated the man. Because he hates Trump so much that whatever Trump does, he's going to oppose for personal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And thereby he helps Putin. Okay? He helps Russia by doing it. That's called gathering the facts. And then the truth then exposes itself. And I think that's why you and I have been successful all these years. The book is On Power, #1 New York Times bestseller, which makes them deliriously happy. They love to put Mark Levin and Bill O'Reilly's name at the top of the bestseller list. I think they have parties, Levin, when you and I hit #1. I think they go out, have a bunch of drinks, and, hey, those guys have done it again,
Well, let me say one thing on your behalf. You sent me an early copy of your book. Obviously, I've been busy with mine. I broke the back of it starting last night. It's another killer book. It's just a fantastic book for the reasons you say. You bring the facts to the table, and then you reason through the facts. I ask people to do the same thing. Just reason through these things.
Right. Stop with the agenda-driven garbage when you have to just struggle to make your position even coherent. You're not on the right side. All right, Mark, it's always a pleasure. Hope we can do it again soon. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're the busiest guy in the country.
Well, you'll be coming on my show. God bless you,
Great.
brother. You take
All
care
right.
of yourself.
And it won't be boring. When you and I get together,
you're
it's
never
never boring. Okay. We'll see you later. If you are handling your own books or relying on a bookkeeper, it could lead to inaccuracies, missed deductions, and cash flow blind spots. FYSI's team of seasoned accounting professionals, corporate and tax attorneys manage every journal entry, bank reconciliation, and month-end close with precision, delivering clear, timely financial reports. They incorporated advanced tax avoidance strategies into your bookkeeping to capture deductions before you file. And they connect you with industry leaders and referral partners for growth opportunities. Set up your free consultation to learn how FYSI's experts can transform your books into a growth engine and accelerate your business to the next level. Act now to claim your free $5,000 business assessment, available for a limited time. Please go to fysi.com/bill. Use promo BILL, or you can call 800-877-4000 today. All right, final thought of the day. You may remember that I had 4 movies produced of my nonfiction books. We did Killing Lincoln, we did Killing Kennedy, Killing Jesus, and Killing Reagan. All were fabulously successful and made the companies that produced them lots of money. All right? I think Killing Jesus was the best movie. One of the movies was what they call a docudrama, where you had film scenes and all that, but you had a major star, Tom Hanks, kind of set the movie up throughout. I'll give you a clip in a moment. So the people who developed this movie worked for a company called Scott Free, Ridley Scott, brilliant director. They formed their own company now. It's called Fifth Season. They just bought Confronting Evil. Boy, that's a big break for us. Okay? And they're going to do it as a TV adaptation, which is a streaming thing. Okay? So I think this is the way it's going to come down. Roll the tape on Lincoln.
In the aftermath of the assassination of the many witnesses who claimed to know Booth or to see him on the evening of April 14, 1865, Booth's friend and fellow actor John Matthews later said, "Those who were the wisest knew the least." And the stage is set for the most dramatic and resonant crime in American history.
That is what I think the Confronting Evil series is going to look at. I don't know who, I'm an executive producer, but I don't know who I want yet. A couple of people I have in mind. But it's going to be big. We are so happy to be working with Fifth Season, because I work with them for the other 4 movies, and they're great. You know, I don't like a lot of the Hollywood weasels. You know that. But these people are really good. So that was a big break. And, you know, we sent them the book, and they loved it. You'll love it. Get it now, so you get it first. It's coming right up. Confronting Evil, out September 9th. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. I'm Bill O'Reilly. See you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.